You are standing in a room full of people. Music is playing. Glasses are clinking. Everyone around you is laughing. And somehow, somewhere deep in your chest, you feel completely and utterly alone. You scan the faces. You smile when someone makes eye contact. You hold your drink a little tighter. And you wonder if something is wrong with you. Gee, nothing is wrong with you. But the real answer to why you feel this way is far stranger than you think. Your brain is not a modern machine. It is an ancient one, running ancient software, dropped into a world it was never designed for. And the feeling you get in that crowded room, that hollow ache, that invisible wall between you and everyone else, that is not a glitch. That is the system working exactly as intended, just for a world that no longer exists. To understand why, you have to go back, way back, not to last century, not to the ancient Greeks. You have to go back roughly 2 million years, to the grasslands of East Africa, where your ancestors lived in small, tight bands of people, 30 to 50 individuals on average, sometimes a little more, rarely more than 150. That upper limit, 150, is not a guess. It is a number that keeps appearing across human cultures and across human history. The British anthropologist Robin Dunbar noticed it in the 1990s. He was studying primates, comparing brain size to social group size, and he found a consistent relationship. Bigger brains meant larger social circles. When he ran the numbers for the human brain, the predicted group size came out to roughly 150. He then looked at hunter-gatherer communities, medieval villages, military units, modern office sizes, and the same number kept showing up. Today, this is called Dunbar's number. And here is what that number tells you. Your brain was built to track, maintain, and genuinely know about 150 people. Not to recognize, not to nod at, to know, to understand who trusts whom, who is reliable, who is a threat, who needs help, who would come through for you in the dark. In a crowd of 300 strangers, your ancient brain is already overwhelmed. In a city of 10 million, it has no idea what to do at all. Think about what life actually looked like for most of human history. You woke up surrounded by the same people every day. You knew their voices before you saw their faces. You knew who snored, who woke early, who was afraid of thunder, who told the best stories by the fire. These were not acquaintances. They were your entire world. Your safety depended on them. Your identity existed because of them. The psychologist John Cacioppo spent decades studying loneliness, and what he found shook the field. Loneliness is not about the number of people around you. It is about the perceived quality of your connections. You can be surrounded by hundreds of people and score as severely lonely on every clinical measure. You can live alone in a quiet house and score as not lonely at all, because you have 2 or 3 relationships that feel deeply real to you. The pain of loneliness, Cacioppo argued, evolved as a warning signal, the same way physical pain evolved. Your body makes you feel pain, so you pull your hand from the fire. Your brain makes you feel lonely, so you repair the bonds that keep you alive. But here is the twist. That warning system was designed for a world where loneliness was temporary. In a small band of 50 people, you felt disconnected from the group. The ache rose. You did something about it. You rejoined the group. The ache faded. The loop closed. The system worked. Now imagine dropping that same system into a modern city. The ache rises. You look around. There are people everywhere, but none of them are your people. None of them know your name. None of them would notice if you disappeared tomorrow. And the system cannot tell the difference between real absence and this specific kind of invisible absence. So the ache stays. And because nothing in your environment tells you the loop is closed, it just keeps rising. This is what researchers call the loneliness paradox. The more densely populated the environment, the more lonely people report feeling. A 2018 survey by Cigna, one of the largest studies of its kind, found that nearly half of Americans reported sometimes or always feeling alone. The youngest adults, those between 18 and 22, scored as the loneliest group of all. Not the elderly living alone, not the isolated, the young, digitally connected, city-dwelling generation, surrounded by more potential connection than any humans in history, and starving for something real. Because your brain cannot be fooled by volume. It cannot be satisfied by followers or views or likes. It is looking for something very specific. It is looking for the signal that another person actually sees you. Not your profile, not your highlight reel. You. In that original small band, being seen was automatic. There was nowhere to hide. Your struggles were visible. Your contributions were noticed. Your absence was felt by the entire group within hours. You did not have to perform. You did not have to compete for attention. You simply existed among people who had no choice but to know you. Swap that for a room of 300 people at a party where everyone is performing their best version of themselves, and your brain gets a very different signal. It sees faces, it sees movement, it even sees smiles, but it does not receive the quiet confirmation it is looking for. The confirmation that says, you belong here, you matter here, you are known here. The neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman, in his book Social, argues that the brain's social network, the circuitry dedicated to thinking about other people, is so fundamental that it activates as the brain's default state. When you stop focusing on a task, when you let your mind wander, your brain does not go quiet. It begins thinking about people, about relationships, about social dynamics. The most basic idle state of the human brain is a state of social processing. It is that important to your survival. And yet, the modern world is organized in a way that constantly undermines exactly this need. Open-plan offices, anonymous apartment blocks, cities where you can live next to someone for 10 years and never know their last name. Social media platforms designed to maximize the number of interactions and minimize the depth of any single one. Your ancient brain is standing in all of this, holding its equivalent of a cup of water in a desert, completely confused about why it is still thirsty. The philosopher Simone Weil once wrote that attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. She meant it in a spiritual sense, but neurologically, she was exactly right. What your brain is craving, what every lonely brain is craving, is not company. It is attention of a particular quality, the kind that says, I see you, specifically. I know something about you that only comes from paying close attention over time. That is something a party cannot give you. That is something 500 followers cannot give you. That is something that only emerges from the kind of slow, repeated, sometimes boring, sometimes frustrating, genuinely mutual exchange that your ancestors practiced every single day around a fire. The loneliness you feel in a crowd is not weakness. It is intelligence. It is your brain correctly detecting that the depth of connection required for actual well-being is not present, and responding accordingly. The ache you feel is your nervous system reminding you of what humans are actually built for. You are not built for performance. You are not built for scale. You are built for depth. You are built to be known by a small number of people who will still be there when the party is over and the lights come on. Tonight, when you find yourself standing in that room again, surrounded by noise, holding your drink a little tighter, feeling that familiar hollow ache in your chest, remember this: you are not broken. You are not too sensitive. You are not failing at being human. You are a creature built for firelight and small circles, standing under fluorescent lights in a crowd of strangers. And somewhere inside